According to this article, layoffs are skyrocketing in 2024. And here's a list of the companies, of some of the companies that are laying off people left and right. Alphabet, Amazon, American Airlines, Business Insider, Citigroup, DocuSign, Forbes, Google. They're even Levi's. They're laying off people, and and everybody's affected. Everybody's being affected by this. It's not just tech companies. It's not just banking. It's not just corporate America. They're cutting off in the retail industry. They're cutting off in the food industry. A friend of mine who works in construction of all jobs, he was laid off at the beginning of the year. And so far, we're in May, so far he still cannot find a job. He's sending resumes left and right. But what is really, really sad, it's sad with every person who's going through this. But one of my friends, he reached out to us last weekend. He lost his job, like everybody else is. But he's got, huge, humongous bills. Mortgage, kids, insurance, what have you. His plate of responsibilities is pretty big, pretty fat, and there's no job. So that's horrible. That's screwed up, because when you rent or your mortgage is $5,000 plus your auto insurance, plus your health insurance, plus kids in private school, plus food on the table, plus utilities. You can't live without electricity, water, gas. It's just really, really horrible, really sad. And I wish I could help them, but I can't. I really can't. And everybody's struggling. Everybody's going through the same stuff. So let's take a look at this video from these people.
No job or industry in corporate America is safe from layoffs. Whenever I do a video about this, people just say, oh, that only happens in the tech industry. Well, take a look at this. Food giant Conagra is actually laying off around 200 employees due to supply chain issues in Wisconsin.
Supply chain issues. They're also laying off. There's no job security. There has never been job security. And in these days, not even one job is secure.
Yep, that's good old manufacturing. So that's 250 people who are going to have to find new jobs. Those jobs range from people on the line to process engineers, operations supervisors, and all the way up. So just because you're in an industry like healthcare, hospitality, or manufacturing, do not get caught up in stability.
Right. Things can change any moment. Everybody's exposed. Everybody is on the verge of losing their jobs, on the verge of being laid off. And you know what? Those who are still employed, they're not happy. If you go to any store and you ask an employee for something, hey, where can I find X, Y, and Z? You can tell they're upset. You can tell they're having a bad day. And I don't blame them.
Things can change at any moment, and a lot of these big companies are rethinking how they run their supply chains. They're thinking more about automation.
Yeah, automation. They're going to lay off. One of the main reasons they're laying off people is because they're using AI. And they're going to save a ton of money. There you go.
And how they can be more efficient with less people. In fact, that is the focus for pretty much every company in 2024. How can we get more done with less?
How can we get more done with less? Less people, less money, more profits. It's just crazy. So let's take a look at this other one.
Can somebody please tell me what the fuck I have this for? Or thousands of hours of training? I mean, thousands.
It's just sad to see this lady crying, holding her degree, which by the way was not cheap. and she's got thousands and thousands of hours of specialty in her field, yet no job.
Or why I've worked the last 20 years to just not be able to get a job. I have a psychology degree, thousands of hours of training in various types of social work and counseling. I can't even talk right now. I am one who usually trains people to do things, whether it's HIPAA, paperwork. I have tried to get a job at every entry-level position you can think of in the last 2 years. In the last couple of weeks, I had to have 15 interviews, which is the most callbacks and interviews I've gotten, so I finally had hope. And for the third time in 3 months, I was told I am a good fit. They would like to move forward with me. They just have to check my references. I sit and I wait. They don't call my references, and then out of nowhere tell me that an internal person applied and the position is no longer available. This is 3.
That is rude. That is cruel. Cruel. Really, really bad. They go outside, they post the job, and they hire within. What kind of screwed up method is that? You know, they're playing with people's feelings. They're playing with people's emotions and economy and hopes. They got responsibilities. Look at this lady. She's so distressed. So let's take a look at this other one.
Here's a company you shouldn't work for. Let's talk about one of the most toxic interview processes I've ever been a part of, and then expose the company.
Yeah, expose the company. What are you going to lose?
Because I really don't give a damn. I work for myself now as a result of this terrible process, and companies should not be allowed to get away with this.
Right. They should not be allowed to play with this. They should be on a blacklist of jobs that you should not apply.
So here we go. In the course of 5 months interviewing with this company, I was given a verbal offer, only to have it rescinded, only to be referred to a similar position and be told this will be the most transparent process
Yeah, right.
ever been a part of by the recruiter and the hiring manager. I was gaslit from every direction possible. You're overqualified. We loved you as a candidate. Your case study was phenomenal. You're such a fit. Ghosted left and right, like never before. I was ghosted by 2 different hiring teams who told me that they wanted to hire me, who had at some point given me a verbal offer. So I said, screw it, I'm gonna email you and CC everybody that I ever interviewed with at your company and call you out on your bullshit.
Yes, call them up on their bullshit. Yeah.
And so I sent them this lengthy email calling them out on their BS and basically said, can somebody please explain to me, as a valued candidate, why I'm constantly being ghosted? And to that, they responded, oh, you know what? We're going to go with somebody that's more junior.
We're going to go with someone who's more junior? What kind of BS is that? It's just so upsetting. It's just, they're playing games. What is the reason of this freaking games?
Just somebody please be honest with me.
Yeah, be honest. Stop being rude and having no respect for people. Stop playing games with these people. They are humans just like you and me. Okay, let's take a look at this other one.
More than 305,000 people were laid off last year. And in February of 2024 alone, there were nearly 85,000 job cuts. That's the second highest number for February since 2009. And while those numbers are fairly staggering, what I'm choosing to focus on as someone who was recently laid off is the fact that I am not alone.
No, she's not alone. I have friends who have lost their job recently. I have a friend who had the perfect job, and now he's struggling. Now he's freaking out about paying his mortgage, $5,000 plus, not counting taxes and insurance, not counting utilities, not counting food on the table, not counting car insurance, car payments, the list goes on and on and on.
There are thousands of people right now searching for jobs and affected by job loss, which means that we have an opportunity to be there for one another. We can share experiences and stories. We can share resources.
Yes, they can share. We can all share the list of bad companies to apply. Don't apply. There should be a blacklist, like the Yelp of employers. Do not, give them under 5 stars, under 10 stars. Do not apply for this job. Do not go with this company.
And leads, and we can help each other through this. Even though it's a really crappy situation, we have an opportunity to build a community.
Yeah, we have an opportunity to build a community, to give, listen, be there for somebody, listening to them. Like we're listening to my friend, and I wish I could help him, but, I really can't. We're all in the same boat. And I'm really sad, really sorry about that. So let's take a look at this other person.
Okay, so I know it feels like this is a repeat of last year. We're seeing so many layoffs happen. But to put it in perspective, there have been 10,000 people who have been laid off in 2024 compared to 90,000 last year. I don't know about you guys, but every single time I log on to LinkedIn and TikTok, it feels like just as many people got laid off this year as last year, but that's seriously not the case. There's a lot of doom and gloom out there about layoffs and the possibility of them happening. I would just go to say that hopefully the worst is over.
No, the worst is not over. It's just starting. Because I saw one video where they say this is the season of layoffs. So it's just starting, and it's going to get worse before it gets any better.
Could still see some layoffs throughout the year, but it's not going to be anything like 2023 or 2022.
So it's not as bad as previous years, but it's going to be bad. Okay, that makes us all feel a lot better.
I think we can all agree, though, that the job market is pretty bad right now. It's taking so long to get hired, and it feels like companies are being extra selective.
Oh, yeah, extra selective, and they're making them do presentations, do case studies, do free work for nothing. It's just horrible. Really, really horrible. So here's an interesting approach. Now, after you lose a job and you freak out that there's no money to pay the rent or mortgage, there's no job to feed the kids, there's no, to put food on the table, then you go through a grief moment. On top of everything else, now you go through grief, personal grief. So let's take a look at this.
No one talks about the grief of leaving a toxic job and saying goodbye to the opportunities that you were sold versus the opportunity that you got. When you leave a toxic job, you're not sad about leaving the toxic job. You're sad about what you thought the opportunity was going to be.
Opportunities. Yeah, when we get hired, we go into a new company with a lot of hopes for opportunities, for learning, for connecting with different people who are going to empower us. We are excited about the future, full of opportunities, and having a better life, and bunch of BS.
You accepted the opportunity in the first place because you were told that there was opportunities to grow, opportunities to learn, opportunities to advance in your career. But when you got there, the opportunities
there are no opportunities. So and sure, when you get hired, they tell you, oh, we have X, Y, and Z opportunities, paid vacations, paid sick leave, pay this, pay that. Bunch of BS.
Really, it didn't take long after you started that job before you started to suspect that they had pulled the good old-fashioned bait and switch on you. Your boss was a micromanager or a ghost, and there was no in between. Your coworkers were instrumental in getting you through the day, or they were your worst enemy, and there was no in between.
That reminds me of back in so many years ago when I used to have a job. I was working for a toxic office, so toxic that my blood felt like it was boiling every day. From the moment I walked in there, my blood was boiling. It's just, I'm so glad I'm not there. I don't miss them at all.
The work you were given was way below your experience level and capability, or way above, and they completely set you up to fail, and there was no in between. One thing has come up for the thousands of people that I have worked with that have left a toxic job, and that is grief. But that grief was never for the job that they had. It was always for the job they thought they were going to get.
The grief is for the thought we thought we were gonna get. We thought we were gonna be happy in this, perfect job of opportunities.
And frankly, unpacking that grief is complicated because to get over the toxic job, you need to unpack what actually happened, figure out what was really bothering you.
Well, for me, it took me a whole year to get rid of all the toxic that was on my body, that was in my mind, that was part of my everyday life. And it took me a long time. I had to get therapy to get rid of this toxic within myself. It was just horrible. On top of freaking out, of not having money to pay the mortgage or bills, to put food on the table, pay all the bills, then you go through grief. Then you go through remorse of, I should have done X, Y, and Z. I should have gotten the other job. I should have accepted the other job instead of this one. Oh gosh. I feel for these people because, back in the 90s, I was laid off. But back then, it wasn't as bad as it is now. Back then, they gave me a severance pay, a good package that, it didn't freak me out. Also, back then, my mortgage was not as big as $5,000 or more. So everything was sort of okay. It wasn't as bad as it is now. These are really tough times, especially in 2024. It's not fair that corporations and employers in general are making applicants jump the hoops for nothing. And then at the end, tell them that they're overqualified. It's not right. So my heart goes out to you all. I know what you're going through because I've been there. I've been there myself and I know what it's like. So if you found value in this video, please like, comment, and share, and subscribe. I will be offering money as the channel grows. I will be offering money to those who participate. And also, I agree, there should be a platform where we have a blacklist of employers. Don't even apply. Don't even look for those jobs. Don't even send your resume to them. So yes, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.